Remember me telling you about the beef tips? Well, here I am. I'm making the beef tips just like my grandmother used to make. I leave them in the carton in salt, pepper, and garlic salt. I use sea salt. And then I'm already sweating my onions, but I've got my, I'm going to brown. It's smoking, so now I'm going to brown the beef. We've mixed our beef in with our onions, and we're stirring. Next, we're going to add our beef broth to simmer it, because I didn't cook the beef all the way through. I'm just going to let it simmer so it softens the beef. I'm adding a whole 32 ounces of beef broth to cook and let it meat simmer. I'll let that simmer for about an hour. I'm scraping the little bits from the beef and the olive oil that's left in my pan. I'm going to add it to the broth. They're good. These are my staples: my black pepper, my olive oil, my garlic powder, my sea salt, and my muti. I'm going to add a half a cup of the muti to the beef stew here as it's cooking. It's just now coming up to a boil, and I'm going to add the half a cup of the muti tomato puree, and then turn it down on real low and let it finish simmering. I want to get all the sauce out of my measuring cup, so I always stir it around, and then the sauce is in the pot, not in the measuring cup. Oh, now we're going to turn it down, and we're going to just simmer it for about 45 more minutes. That's after we put the lid on. So it's cooking. Now that it's boiling and it's on low, don't forget to stir. Keep it stirred so that nothing sticks to the bottom. Our beef is getting nice and tender. Now here I'm going to add, it's been cooking for about, on very low for about 30 minutes. Here I'm going to add some celery and some carrots. I don't add a lot of celery, but I like the taste of celery in my stew. A lot of people don't. That's okay. You don't have to add it. It's whatever makes you happy. But I'm going to add my carrots and my celery now, because it takes them longer to cook than it does potatoes. So we're getting, oh, it's starting to look like a stew, isn't it? And it's yummy. I wish you could smell it. I wish we had smell vision. It's yummy. It smells so good. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I always chop my vegetables and everything and have them setting. Now, my potatoes have been setting in water. So I'm going to pour the water off and then add the potatoes and cook them for 20-25 minutes. And remember, you always have to constantly be stirring your stew every, I'd say 10-15 minutes, because the meat goes to the bottom and it will stick to the bottom of your pot if you don't keep it stirred like I'm doing now. I'm trying to keep it all stirred so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Oh, yum. It's getting there. Oh, we're starting to look like a real stew now. Look how yummy that looks. Beef and vegetable, the carrots, and the onions. Oh, it's really... You know, a lot of people don't like beef stew in the summertime. They think it's a winter. I like it year-round. It's just me. Keep stirring. About every 10 minutes you need to stir, especially with the potatoes in there because they're a starch. And here again, we want nothing sticking on the bottom, giving it an opportunity to scorch. The last 10 minutes, I take the lid off, and that allows it to thicken up, and it won't be long before we'll be eating it. Our beef stew is done. I've turned the fire off now, and I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'm just going to wait until time to serve. Now, before we sit down and eat our stew, I have to show you. I like to eat and serve myself very nicely. The presentation's just as important as anything else. So I want to enjoy it and feel like it's something that really gives me a lot of pleasure to know that I cooked a very good meal. It doesn't have to be an expensive meal, but that I've served it to myself because I'm worth it. Ready to sit down and eat that beautiful stew that I made. I'm going to get some water and then I'll be eating. So bon appetito. I hope you enjoyed watching me make it as much as I'm going to enjoy eating it.